Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Enter his courts with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. It is Tuesday, the 12th day of July, 2022. My name is Clive Walsh, inviting you to join me for the reading of our devotional thought for today. And we trust that the Holy Spirit will minister to you just as you are in need of today in specific areas of your life. So take the next 5 minutes or so and join me as we read our devotional thought for today. And it's entitled, A Call to Thanksgiving. That's A Call to Thanksgiving. And the verse today, Psalms 100, verse 1 and verse 4. And it says, Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Enter his courts with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. That's Psalms 100, verse 1, as well as verse 4. Alistair Begg writes, The 100th Psalm, with its call to worship, one of the most well-known in the book of Psalms. This familiarity can make it difficult for it to impact our hearts, though. In many ways, it's easier to study passages that are less familiar because then we aren't complacent in our study. We don't assume that we already know them. We should never feel so comfortable with the invitation to thanksgiving that we brush over it, as it were only rhetoric. This psalm urges us to take action. As God's people, we are called to joyful worship and to thankful praise. Make a joyful noise is an invitation to exuberant, vocal adoration. Such praise should not be treated as a forced obligation, as if we've swallowed something distinctly unpalatable. Instead, it should be a response to God's activity in our lives, which leads us to borrow a phrase from C.S. Lewis, to be surprised by joy. The opportunity for worship lifts the spirit of the genuine believer, and nobody is left out of the exhortation. God has made all the earth for the praise of his glorious grace. The invitation also beckons us to enter his courts with praise. Consider the experience of the commoner outside Buckingham Palace in London, where the best you can do is poke your nose through the railings and hope for a fleeting glimpse of royalty from afar. The gate is purposely closed to protect the sovereign, but that is not our experience with the Father. Jesus' death tore the temple curtain into two, Matthew chapter 27, verse 51, and opened a new way for living for us. Through Jesus we have gained access to the Father, and the gates are thrown wide open in welcome. Our expressions of gratitude in joyful worship and thankful praise are not to be tied to our circumstances or feelings. The real foundation of thanksgiving is in knowing that the Lord is God and that he has invited us into his courts to surround his throne as his subjects, but also as his children. To recognize this is to have firm ground underfoot so that each of us can say with the psalmist, He drew me out of the pit of destruction, out of the miry bog, and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. That's Psalms 40, verses 2 and 3. One day, you will stand there in his courts. Until then, each Sunday you can stand with others in your local church, an embassy of the heavenly throne room, and anticipate that future day of singing with joy to the Lord. And why wait till that day? We can do that today, this very moment. And we trust that your hearts will be filled with thanksgiving, and you would take him up at his invitation to come into his courts with thanksgiving. Clive Walsh here, encouraging you to have a thankful day today. And for those of you continuing reading through the Bible in a year, Psalms 4 through 6, and the book of Acts, chapter 9, verses 23 through 43. May God richly bless you.